Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Legion Alpha video. Today I'm going to be giving you an overview of the Feral Druid, which is a very cool spec indeed. It also does look very cool, especially because it's got the artifact weapon skin. Though there are quite a few of them, this is just the default one. So in this video we're going to go over how it plays. First of all, by showing you the basic abilities, then going through all of the abilities, then the talents, and finally a quick gander at the artifact weapon. So this is quite reminiscent in terms of a lot of the names. You will recognize things like Rake, Shred, Thrash, Swipe, Ferocious Bite, and Rip. So, well, let's just get started with Shred. 40 energy. Shreds the target, dealing 40,000 physical damage, gives you 1 combo point, 20% increased damage if it's against a bleeding target, and if you use it when you're stealthed, it will deal another 20% damage, and has double the chance to crit, which is really important because of Primal Fury. Whenever you crit with one of your combo generating abilities, it will generate an additional combo point. So, normally this generates 1, if it crits it will generate 2. That does not apply to dots, so the initial damage from Rake could proc that, but the dots from it, the dot ticks, wouldn't. Let's talk about Rake. Rake the target for 21,000 bleed damage and an additional 106 bleed over 15 seconds, reduces the target's movement speed by 50% for 12 seconds, gives you 1 combo point. If you use it when you're stealthed, it will stun the target for 4 seconds, and deal 100% increased damage. So let's just run up to this training dummy here. There's a, that's what Rake looks like, and let's do a few shreds. Now we're at 5 combo points. What the bloody hell are we going to do with those? Well, 2 main abilities. First one's Rip, 30 energy, does a shed load of bleed damage over 24 seconds. So you always want to have that active at 5 combo points worth. And then we have Ferocious Bite, a finishing move that causes damage per combo point and consumes up to 25 additional energy to increase damage by up to 100%. So, how does this gameplay work? Honestly, it works extremely simply. There's 1 or 2 other things for Ferocious Bite though. Crit chance is doubled against bleeding targets, so have your targets bleeding, but you're going to have that done anyway. And if you use it on targets below 25% health, it will refresh the duration of Rip. So when you're in the execute phase, you don't have to worry about dots, you just need to worry about mashing Ferocious Bite. How does it play though? You run in, you apply your main bleed, you do your shred, you get to 5 combo points, you apply your Rip, you get more combo points back again via shredding and ensuring that Rake, doesn't run out of time, and then you do a Ferocious Bite. That's pretty much the crux of how it's going to be playing at the minute. However, there are a number of mechanical layers on top of that which serve to make it, I think, significantly more fun and interesting. Now, you've noticed my healing touch is glowing. That's because of... where are we? There we go, yes, Predatory Swiftness. Finishing moves have a 20% chance per combo point to make your next healing touch, Entangling Roots, or Rebirth instant, free, and castable in all forms. Now you might be thinking, right, a heal. How's that going to make me do more damage? Simple. Bloodtalons. It's a level 100 talent. I'm covering it at the start of the video because it's one of the coolest things, and if I say it now, people will actually hear it, because in 15 minutes time, 70% of you will have clicked off this video already. So, Bloodtalons. Casting Healing Touch causes your next 2 melee abilities to deal 30% additional damage. So, let's run in here, get ourselves a proc for Predatory Swiftness, which you can pretty much guarantee yourself. And I'm just going to use Tiger's Fury here to make things a little bit quicker. I'll explain it in a second. So there you go. We're now at a stage where we've got this proc, so we're going to quickly generate some combo points. There we go. We're going to use Healing Touch, which has now given me Bloodtalons, which means my next 2 melee abilities do 30% additional damage. Obviously, doing 30% additional damage on a Ferocious Bite that is already being increased by 100% because you've consumed 50 energy instead of 25 on it. You're doing so much damage from that. Really cool interaction. Love that gameplay. It encourages people thinking about what they're doing, and that's really cool. Anyway, with that covered, let's just quickly run through the rest of the abilities. Thrash, 50 energy, strikes all enemies within 8 yards. That's what it looks like. It does a bleed, 15,000 bleed damage instantly, and 55,000 roughly, over 15 seconds. That has interplay with Swipe, which looks like this. Interesting, so Swipe seems to have broken. 1 minute. Never mind, Swipe's basically just looks the same as Thrash, but with a different color. So this will swipe nearby enemies, doing 23,000 physical damage to them, giving you 1 combo point, deals 20% additional damage to bleeding targets. So if you are fighting 6 people, you want to run in, bleed them all, and then swipe them all. They're both going to generate, well, swipe's going to generate you combo points, which you can then, do fun things with. We do have one other main thing in terms of our combo point spenders, which is Maim, 35 energy. This consumes up to 5 combo points to stun the target for up to 5 seconds. It does very low damage though, so that's probably more of a PvP focused talent, or ability even. Now there is another finisher, Savage Roar, which will be familiar to quite a few of the people who have played this class, but it's a talent, so I'm going to cover that later. We also have, I'm just going to switch into a different talent here so that Berserk is up, because Incarnation King of the Jungle replaces that. Berserk 3-minute cooldown reduces the cost of all cat form abilities by 50% and increases maximum energy by 50 for 15 seconds. And then we've got Tiger Fury. Instantly restores 60 energy and causes auto attacks and abilities to deal 15% additional damage for their full duration. This effect lasts for 8 seconds, but the damage increase stays for the whole duration. That's DPS snapshotting, and that is very cool. So Rip is a 24-second cooldown. Rake, it lasts 15 seconds, so you'll be able to line them up fairly decently with Tiger's Fury. So you want to do a Tiger's Fury and then maybe do like a Rip or something, because that's going to DPS snapshot the damage increase from Tiger's Fury. So already, with this Bloodtalons gameplay and this Tiger's Fury gameplay, we've got 2 levels of gameplay where people who are going to put in a little bit more thought and skill are going to do better, which I think is really nice. Elun's Guidance is a talent, so I'm going to cover that in a bit. We've also got Survival Instincts, reduces all damage taken by 50% for 9 seconds. That's something that you kind of get via Guardian. It's not a part of Guardian Affinity, though. It's actually a baseline thing, but basically this just means, well, you'll take less damage. Pretty cool, actually. Extremely handy utility to have as a DPSer in case you mess up. We've got Dash, increases movement speed by 70% when in cat form for 15 seconds, and Stampeding Roar, basically you and all of your friends within 10 yards run 60% faster for 8 seconds. We also have Prowl. This allows you to sneak up on, a machinating bastard like this deer and stab him, which is nice, or it could be a player, anything like that. Of course, if you hop into Prowl and then do Rake, that will stun your target for 4 seconds, which is a nice little thing. Probably a PvP opener, though I can't say for sure because I don't normally PvP. We've got Skull Bash. This is your interrupt and a small charge. This will interrupt the target and lock them out of that spell, or that school of spells for 4 seconds, but it's got a 13-yard range, so you run in like that, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, you don't want to Skull Bash to get, to close in with an enemy if you think you're going to need to do an interrupt, but if you don't need to interrupt, it can be handy for closing the distance. In terms of other things, Ashmane's Fury or Frenzy, that's an artifact weapon thing. We've got Moonfire. Because of Lunar Inspiration, it's a part of my spec, but if I had any other first row talent, what you would see is this would actually just kick me out of cat form, and it wouldn't be a normal part of my spec. There's also Healing Touch, which I've pretty much already covered, and that's all of the main abilities. There's 1 or 2 outliers we need to cover here, then we do the passives, and we'll move on to the talents after that. Now, you will notice I've got a bunch of bear form abilities here. Specifically, I've got Growl, Mangle, Thrash, Ironfur, Frenzied Regeneration. I'll cover them in the talent section because they're due to Guardian Affinity. We've got Remove Corruption. This will remove all curse and poison effects from your target. We've got Revive, which will revive somebody. We've got Rebirth. Rebirth is your combat res. And I'm actually pretty sure, yep, that is indeed all of the abilities covered. Let's talk quickly about the different passives. So Razor Claws is your mastery, increases damage done of your cat form bleeds by 40%. Feline Swiftness increases movement speed by 15%. Omen of Clarity causes your auto attacks to have a chance to reduce the energy cost of your next cat form ability by 100%. Predatory Swiftness means that if you use a 5-point finisher, that will give you 100% chance of your next Healing Touch, Entangling Roots, or Rebirth being instant free and castable in all forms. Of course, it's got the synergy with Bloodtalons. And then we've got Primal Fury, which we have already covered. So let's move on to the talents, starting off with Predator. So, Predator, the cooldown of your Tiger Fury is reset if a target dies with one of your bleed effects active. Obviously, a bleed will be active because you're a feral druid. That's what you do. Now, this is useful, in my head, instantly in 2 scenarios, which very much reflect how I play the game, which is Dungeons and Raids / leveling. So Dungeons and Raids, if an ad and a boss is going to be dying more than once every 30 seconds, this is probably worth taking. If you are leveling out in the world, though, this means you're pretty much always going to have Tiger's Fury available when you're, pulling a new, mob in the world, and that means you'll be able to instantly get the 60 energy and do additional damage, so you will shred through things quite a bit faster. We move on to Blood Scent. Your melee abilities in cat form have a 10% increased crit chance on targets with bleed effects. That, of course, has synergy with Primal Fury. And then Lunar Inspiration. Moonfire is now usable in cat form, generating 1 combo point and dealing damage based on your attack power. It costs 30 energy though, so that basically is just adding a little bit more into your very basic rotation. Onto the 30 tier, Renewal instantly heals you for 30% max health. Very exciting 2-minute cooldown. Displacer Beast, this is your Druid Blink. You blink, and then you get a 50% movement speed increase for 4 seconds. There's then Wild Charge. If you are not shapeshifted, this will cause you to fly to an ally's position. If you're in bear form, you'll charge at an enemy, immobilizing them for 4 seconds. If you're in cat form, you will leap at an enemy, dazing them for 3 seconds. If you're in travel form, you'll leap forwards 20 yards, and if you are in aquatic form, it will increase your swim speed by an additional 150% for 5 seconds. We've then got the affinities on the 45 tier, so these will give you a basic toolkit for either a Balance, Guardian, or Restoration Druid, which will make you a little bit better in either of those roles. They will additionally give you a passive, so for Balance, it's Astral Influence. This increases the range of all of your abilities by 5 yards. That does include your melee abilities. If it's Guardian, you get Thick Hide, which reduces all damage taken by 10%, and if it's Restoration, you get Ysera's Gift, which heals you for 3% max health every 5 seconds. If you're at full health, instead, it will heal a random nearby injured ally. Very, very exciting stuff. I'd probably just go with Guardian Affinity because it's always on, it's always super, handy. If you're going to take a massive amount of damage, having 10% cleaved off the top of that's probably quite nice for your healers. We move on to the 60, so Mighty Bash, 50-second cooldown. This will stun a target for 5 seconds. Mass Entanglement, this will root targets in place for 20 seconds and spread. The entanglement will spread to additional nearby enemies. Damage caused may interrupt the effect, though. And then we've got Typhoon, which will blast something back, preferably off a cliff of some sort. Then we move on to Soul of the Forest. We're finally getting into the interesting stuff. Your finishing moves grant 6 energy per combo point spent. Now, you're going to be spending 5 combo points. 6 times 5 is 30. Rip costs 30 energy. So, to give you an example, we run in here. We'll build ourselves up to a Rip. And what you're going to notice is that my energy bar pretty much doesn't move whenever I use Rip. So, there you go. Pretty cool. I spend 30. I instantly get 30. The difference, oddly enough, is 0. And to show you that again with Ferocious Bite, if I use it at 25, you can see I actually gained 5 energy there because I used this at 25 and then I gained 30. So that's Soul of the Forest. Overall, that means you're getting a lot more, not combo points, you're getting a lot more energy to play with. We've got Incarnation, King of the Jungle, an improved cat form that allows you to use Prowl while in combat. Very cool. And it also causes Shred and Rake to do damage as if Stealth was active, so they get their additional effects. Also reduces the cost of all cat form abilities by 50% and increases maximum energy by 50, lasting for 30 seconds, and it does replace Berserk. Though that's a 3-minute cooldown, so let's look at Savage Roar first. So Savage Roar will increase damage done by 30%, and it will last for up to 25 seconds based on the number of combo points that you spend. Currently on the alpha, you can stack this up to 49 seconds by, casting it multiple times. I have no idea whether that's going to be the case in the live version of the game, but just looking at Savage Roar here, there you go. We've used Savage Roar. That's just Tiger Fury as an example. Now, we've got the increased damage from Savage Roar. We've got the increased damage from Tiger Fury applying to our, our bleeds and stuff. So that's a nice little bit of increased damage. Of course, Healing Touch, applying, Bloodtalons, if I had that active, would also be something that's at play. Overall, pretty cool. But I have seen some bugs. As an example, there was one time where I used it with 5 points and it only gave me 20 seconds. So it seems like it's a little bit bugged. Maybe it shouldn't be stacking up to 50. With the current way it is, I don't know. Maybe, I haven't seen any bug reports from Blizzard, so who knows. But then there's Incarnation, King of the Jungle, which is the super crazy cat form. I'm just going to use that right now. So we'll hop into cat form, click this, and hopefully the spell effect works. I don't know, it just gives you the red thing. I could be remembering wrong, but basically, yeah, you get that. You get the Super Shred, which does, the additional damage and everything. You get the Super Rake, which stuns. Actually, yeah, in PvP then, you're just going to have a Rake, which will be stunning a lot, but of course diminishing returns will will play into that quite significantly. This is a very big cooldown though, and what I do like about it is it gives you more access to your various different resources. That changes the feel of gameplay, and I always like cooldowns which do that, as opposed to ones which are just a flat, boring, you do X amount increased damage. That's not too exciting, really. We move on to the 90 tier with Sabretooth. Ferocious Bite extends the duration of Rip by 2 seconds per combo point spent, so realistically 10 seconds. And it's boring as hell, as far as I'm concerned, because it just removes gameplay from the spec. I don't find it that interesting, but I mean, hey, if it does make the spec easier to play, if you're just out leveling in the world, that might be more comfortable. We also then have Jagged Wounds. Your Rip, Rake, and Thrash do the same amount of damage as normal, but in 33% less time. So basically, they have to be reapplied more, but they do more damage per second, so if you can apply them all, then you'll be doing quite well. I expect if you want to be using Jagged Wounds successfully, you're going to be the sort of person who is using Tiger's Fury and things like that on cooldown, using them correctly, and just, playing generally a tight rotation. If, basically, yeah, you need to be playing a tighter rotation because this sort of decreases the tolerances when it comes to maintaining 100% uptime. Then we've got Loon's Guidance. 45-second cooldown, you immediately gain 5 combo points and an additional combo point every 1 second for 5 seconds. So with this, with the Loon's Guidance, we've got Tiger Fury, 30-second cooldown. This, a 45-second cooldown, which, by the way, looks like this. That's 2 cooldowns in a row. Yeah, so I guess that's just a lot of short cooldowns. Some people like that, some don't. Though I must admit, I did kind of enjoy it on Enhancement Shaman, so I guess it would be a bit hypocritical not to like it here. We move on to the 100 tier with Bloody Slash. It strikes all nearby enemies in a flurry of blood slashes, doing 80,000 physical damage to each, giving you 1 combo point, maximum of 3 charges, replaces Swipe, and I can't show it to you because, well, it doesn't replace Swipe currently. It doesn't work. I just dragged it on. It shows up as Swipe. When I click on it, I actually can't use Swipe because of that aforementioned bug. And it's not anywhere in my spellbook. So that's Bloody Slash. Bloody useless. Speaking of blood, we've got Bloodtalons. I've already covered this. Your Healing Touch causes your next 2 melee abilities to do 30% additional damage. It's brilliant. Love it. And then we've got Moment of Clarity. Increases your maximum energy by 30. And also causes Omen of Clarity to affect your next 3 cat form abilities instead of just the next one. To give you a quick refresher, Omen of Clarity will give your auto attacks a chance to reduce the energy cost of your next cat form by 100%. And that is, for the most part, a look at how this is going to be playing. That cheeky bastard evaded me. Anyway, that does take us on to the actual artifact weapon itself. It doesn't seem to have a passive, though. Its passive text says that it gives you its active ability, which is this, Ashmane's Frenzy. Now, Ashmane's Frenzy will unleash a flurry of attacks on the target, causing your claws to swipe 15 times over 3 seconds, which does 90,000 damage instantly, plus 537,000 bleed. That's a lot of bleed damage over 6 seconds, and it gives you 3 combo points. Let's have a look at that. So it's weird. The spell effect is kind of cool, but the animation on your character really isn't. As you can see, though, very high bleed damage. So, yeah, it's cool enough. Gives you 3 combo points, so it does actually tie into how your spec plays, which is definitely fair enough. As far as the minor artifact talents go, only a few of them really matter. So there's Ashmane's Energy. Tiger Fury generates an additional 15 energy every 1 second for 3 seconds. That will, of course, increase the speed of your gameplay. And then we've got Feral Power, which increases the crit chance of Shred by 15%, which means Shred will be proccing Primal Fury a little bit more because it'll be critting more. And then we do have Protection of Ashmane. Whenever you leave cat form, you get 100% increased dodge chance and armor for 5 seconds, which probably, I suppose that just allows you to be a sneaky bastard, a slippery bastard anyway, when it comes to, breaking out of things and dodging stuff. I'm assuming that's more something that the PvPers will be excited about, but anyway, let's move on to the major ones. So we start off with Shadow Thrash. Thrash has a chance to release part of Ashmane's soul, causing all enemies within 8 yards to take 32,000 shadow damage every 0.75 seconds for 3 seconds. Sounds exciting, but in reality, you don't have to control that. It just happens by itself. We've got Open Wounds. Whenever you rip a target, the Fangs of Ashmane tear the wound open, causing the target to take an additional 100% damage from your bleeds over 4-5 seconds. That doesn't really matter, though, because you'll always have your bleeds up. And then finally we have Ashmane's Bite. Whenever you Ferocious Bite a target, the Spirit of Ashmane has a chance to create a shadowy copy of Rip on the target. Again, that's kind of dull. I don't think any of those are particularly interesting. And the shadowy copy, it's a copy of Rip. It's not your actual Rip, so it doesn't actually affect your gameplay. A little bit unfortunate as far as I'm concerned. Overall, what do I think about this spec? Well, from what I remember from the tiny amount that I played it in Warlords of Draenor, a lot of the theme of their talents was you can play this the hard way and do more damage, or the easy way and do less damage. It seems like they're continuing that. I love things like Bloodtalons. I love DPS snapshotting on Tiger's Fury. I think that stuff's really good. So there's a talent build in here for the players who are more skilled that is going to be really quite fun to play and quite involved. But there's also a more simple talent build, which is going to be more applicable if you're just out in the world and you don't care about doing 20% or 10% whatever additional damage, and you just want to have a hassle-free way of shredding through stuff. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how it's playing out so far, though I don't speak as an experienced Feral Druid. So if you are a Feral Druid, let me know what you think down in the comments. Other than that though, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.